Emmanuel Macron is in Corsica this Thursday, where he announced what he described as a historic new step. Speaking to the Corsican Assembly, Macron announced the intention to enter the French island into the French constitution and made reference to autonomy for the island, which would be, quote, neither against the state nor without the state.
Ayons l'audace.
Let's dare to build Corsican autonomy within the Republic. This autonomy must be the way to build a future together without the withdrawal of the central government. It won't be an autonomy at the cost of the state, nor an autonomy without the state. Instead, it will be an autonomy for Corsica and within the Republic.
Mais une autonomie pour la Corse et dans la République.
And for more on the story, I'm joined on set by France 24's Clovis Casali. So, Clovis, what exactly does this mean? This is something the nationalists have been pushing for.
Indeed, and let's be very clear. Autonomy does not mean independence. Autonomy means, well, it needs to be defined because we're going into an unknown world, if you will, with a new state that's being thought about, envisaged, will be created for Corsica. But the French state will keep extremely strong powers such as security, defense, justice, currency. We're not going to have a new currency for Corsica, for instance. However, autonomy does mean that Corsican politicians, the elected representatives in Corsica, will be able to have some deciding over social, economic, political, health matters, and that's extremely important for Corsica. Corsicans, nationalist politicians, but also the Corsican people have always stressed that they are different. They have a special culture, they have a language. They are part of France, of course, but they do have differences that are part of their identity, and that's what needs to be respected. And that's also what Emmanuel Macron, the French president, is saying. He says, we will keep the soul and identity, but for Corsica, while keeping national solidarity. So mainland France, if you will, is not going to cut off Corsica. It's still very much part of France, but with a different status, possibly. Autonomy has been granted to some overseas territories, such as French Polynesia already, but this will be an autonomy à la Corse, a Corsican type of autonomy. Let's be clear also, the French president hasn't got all powers. He's suggesting this. It's been in the making. There's been negotiations between his interior minister, Gérald Darmanin, and Corsican nationalists for months. But then, once they come up with a text, and they've got 6 months to do so, that's why Emmanuel Macron has said, then there will be a vote at Congress. Congress is the National Assembly and Senate put together. And to pass, in order to change the constitution, well, there needs to be more than 3/5 of the votes. That will not necessarily be an easy task for Emmanuel Macron to get because notably Les Républicains, the right-wing party here in France, has already said that the nationalists are asking for too much, so we'll have to wait and see.